What makes lore such an indispensable part of video games, and all fictional work for that matter? Lore can be explained as the history and setting of universes. It sets the stage for the stories that follow. Above all, it gives us context. What would the Elder Scrolls games be without Tamriel? What would the Fallout series be without post-apocalyptic America? And what would the Lord of the Rings universe be without Middle-earth? The great writers, game developers, and filmmakers of our time have captured our imaginations with their rich worlds and sci-fi fantasy settings. Why do you and I like to learn about fictional places? Simply put, it takes us on a journey to a place we've never been. Follow me on this journey as we go behind the scenes with the Making of the Lore series. Many of you watching this video now have actually taken the time to watch many of our Lore series episodes and have requested a behind-the-scenes look at how we produce them. Well, let me be the first to say thanks for giving a damn at all. It is important to let you know our process so that maybe you can provide constructive criticism for us in the future and help us grow as a channel and community. After all, that's how any content creator strives to get better. Not to mention, you might want to personally get involved with what we are doing here by working alongside us, but more on that later. As we move forward and expand our shows here on the channel, I do think it is important to let you in on our creative process, as well as share with you our plans for the future. Now, sadly, the way our lore episodes are set up, I usually don't get the chance to address our viewers like this directly, so I'm very excited to do that with this video. I guess the best way to start a behind-the-scenes look at the lore series would be to describe to you its mission and how it all got started. Many people don't know this, but when the Shoddycast began dipping its toes in lore, it was partly because I wanted to win people over to the study of lore in video games. My most favorite genre of gaming has always been RPGs, and I think always will be. There's just something about them. Their fleshed out worlds, large cast of characters, they seem to be the games that I can always come back to again and again. Games like Fallout, Mass Effect, and the Elder Scrolls have let me live a second life in a fictional universe. It's always been a sort of fantasy of mine. And it's that fact alone that makes these gaming universes some of the most exciting, at least for me personally. Game developers like Bethesda Game Studios work tirelessly so that we can have living, breathing worlds like those we see in games like Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. Meanwhile, when we're actually playing these games, we talk to in-game characters only to skip over the dialogue. We collect in-game books and never read them. I've been guilty of this. It has to be incredibly discouraging as a game developer in today's market to see a portion of the player base simply shrug off content that took years to produce. Writing lore for video games must be the most thankless job that ever existed. It is with this in mind that the lore series' first mission is to spread the love of lore to the masses, infect them with the lore virus, if you will. This includes, first and foremost, those gamers who haven't actually taken the time to really go out of their way and study lore. Through your feedback, we found the most popular way to present lore without overwhelming people with too much information would be in 10 to 13-minute long videos that focus around a central topic or theme within the gaming universe. These videos are very accessible, and it makes it easy for lore fanatics to share their love for lore with their friends, which, as a content producer on YouTube, is exactly what you need to make a viable series. You need a series that is easy to share. You see, anyone can watch a lore episode about Elder Scrolls or Fallout here on the channel, and even if they don't play those games, they can still enjoy the content. So the process of actually creating a lore episode is pretty simple, at least on paper. Step 1, we choose a topic and we make an outline. We make sure that each topic flows into the other. This continuity gives the viewer a sense that everything in this fictional universe is connected just like in our own universe. Also, it lets us use our trademark sign-off.
If the super mutants do ever form another army, they're likely to find the wasteland a little more of a challenge this time around. Since their master fell, the world has become a more crowded place, and there are other, better-equipped factions of humanity ready to challenge any newcomers for the spoils of the old world. But that is a story for another day.
So step 1, choose a topic and make sure it all connects. Step 2, research. Game franchises like The Elder Scrolls and Fallout, they've been around since the days of DOS, and over time they've had many writers working hard to build their worlds. We're talking pages and pages of in-game books, out-of-game books, and website articles. The research stage can be an overwhelming one, and a scary one. This is the step where we decide what information is worth mentioning, and what information can be set aside for a future episode. Either way, as you can imagine, we're going to piss people off. That often happens when you're trying to condense information. But I'll always stand by the belief that the lore series has always been about quality over quantity, and I'd sooner produce a 12-minute video with a core message than a 30-minute video lacking focus. When I research, I like to keep a notebook at my desk where I can quickly jot down important key information or common themes about a topic. For instance, the Elder Scrolls lore series recently discussed a very important figure in lore, a man that goes by the name of Talos Stormcrown. Now, Talos is a very interesting figure in fictional history because, like many other fictional characters, he can draw parallels to many real-world historical figures. I usually like to actively look for these similarities in my writing because it helps me understand the inspiration the original writer drew upon when they dreamed up the fictional character. It's no secret that all fictional history is in some way inspired by real-world events. What are the Nords if not the Vikings, and what is the Imperial City if not Rome? These real-world parallels usually provide me with a common theme that adds a little extra something to each video, a sort of social commentary. For example, Talos' story was the journey of a man who served under a great king as a general, only to ascend to the throne once his king met an untimely end. This story parallels King David of ancient Israel. Both were destined to become great rulers of their kingdoms. Both inherited their thrones when their respected rulers at that time were killed. Both had an affair with a woman. Talos goes on to conquer many civilizations, uniting them under a single banner, much like the Romans conquered the Sicilians, Thracians, and many other peoples of the Mediterranean. Hell, their armies even wore the same skirts. Step number 3. Writing. A worthy lore script isn't something that we'd like to rush out in a single afternoon. Over the course of many hours, a script can be written and rewritten until it's ready for narration. For me personally, the most important thing in my writing is to make sure the tone stays true to the universe we are discussing. An Elder Scrolls script should read like an epic rather than a purely informational work. A behind-the-scenes video should sound more informational like I'm sounding right now. A Fallout script should endeavor to incorporate some of Fallout's signature humor. This is the reason why we'll sometimes include a little Vault-Tec presentation at the start of an episode. It's just a little something that pays homage to that franchise.
Upon leaving the vault, you may find your neighbors on the surface have changed a lot while you were away. Little Sally Sue, for instance, is gone, and in her place we see Mr. Scary. Mr. Scary is not our friend. Here at Vault-Tec, your safety is our #1 concern, so we're here to help any post-nuclear nuisance go away. Introducing the Mutant Blaster R88.
I have to say, the biggest challenge about retelling stories that happened in fictional worlds is the fact that video game lore isn't exactly solid. By that, I mean we as gamers and fans of fiction are constantly being bombarded by conflicting reports. Game development studios will go through many writers over the years, and as a result, the history of those universes will often lack continuity, leaving us as the fans to pick up the pieces, so to speak. When you're trying to write a documentary-style video with a beginning, a middle, and an end, putting the puzzle together and making sure that the pieces actually fit can be a daunting task. Instead of including every possible canon story about a topic, we will usually pick the most popular story, or the story that is most likely to be true. We find that this makes a more entertaining and, more importantly, more focused video. The last thing I want to do to the viewers is to drown them in a sea of rumors and conjecture. Even if some of you guys like that sort of thing, it would be counterproductive to our mission to make lore easily accessible for everyone. Step 4. Narration. I'll be the first to say I hate the sound of my voice, although I think everyone hates the sound of their own voice once it's been recorded. Proper narration can be the deciding factor in whether people will want to watch a lore episode, and it's especially important for people tuning in for the first time, because it's usually the first thing that they judge. It's like the old saying goes, there's no second chance at a first impression. It's actually pretty funny if you think about it. You can have all the passion in the world and bring that passion to your writing and research, but if your narrator's voice is monotone, or if you bring too much enthusiasm, you can scare people away. Now, this truth is especially important for those of you who maybe want to start your own YouTube channel one day. We spend almost as much time here on this channel making sure that our script narration sounds good as we spend researching a topic. I can't stress enough how important it is. Step 5. Storyboarding. Once a script is completed and the narration for it is recorded, we're ready to concentrate on the visuals of the episode. Kyle and I work as a team during the storyboarding process, so it's important to keep a good spirit of collaboration. For those who aren't familiar with storyboarding, this is the step where we make sure that the script matches the visuals that will be filmed for the episode. Kyle and I will read aloud each paragraph of the script together and come up with ideas for how each scene in the video should play out. For example, in the Talos scene talking about war and death, what better location to film than a battlefield littered with the bodies of the fallen soldiers that served under this general, with a thoughtful Talos standing among them in a kind of quiet contemplation. Does the end always justify the means? Does the death of thousands somehow mean less in the hopes of achieving a lasting peace? Lasting peace is a noble goal, but when does the blood price become too much to bear? Surely a man able to carry such a burden has become more than human. He has transcended morality and into godhood, at least in his own mind and the minds of his men. Step 6. Filming. Up until recently, all our visuals were done in-house by Kyle, but in an effort to improve and evolve, we've since scoured YouTube for people who have had past experience giving games a cinematic feel. We searched high and low for gamers who would bring our storyboards to life using their own artistic eye. Filming in-game footage takes an incredibly long time, and it is most certainly the step in our process that requires the most amount of patience. Each scene Kyle and I dream up has to be recreated using only the in-game engine. With the help of console commands and player modding, the machinima artist must painstakingly set up each character at the location of our choosing. In this example, we asked that a scene for the Fallout lore series be set at a gas station in pre-war America. For those who aren't familiar with the Fallout universe, this is a pretty tall order, considering the Fallout games take place in post-nuclear America. This single scene could have taken up to a half an hour to set up, but it will only appear in the episode for a few short seconds. Step 7. Effects and the magic touch. When you watch a lore video on the Shoddycast, you'll notice that we like to spruce things up with our own effects. The Elder Scrolls lore series, for instance, looks like something out of a painting, and the Fallout lore series has its own flavor with grimy-looking projector slides. Kyle and my friend Ricky are always looking for ways to add that magic touch. We think that this goes a long way in giving each series its own signature style. And finally, we arrive at step number 8. Editing, my personal favorite. If anyone out there is curious about the video editor we use for our videos, it's a wonderful program called Camtasia. Camtasia is an excellent editor and the only video editing software we've ever used on the channel because it works like a video editor should. So if you're looking for a video editor that won't take days to learn, I highly recommend it. Editing is like putting the pieces of a puzzle together, and my favorite part about editing for the Shoddycast is making each video feel epic, and by that I mean adding lots and lots of good background music. Music has a way of setting the mood for a scene, and in all honesty, it kind of injects a sort of artificial emotion for each and every scene you play music in. So every chance I get, I like to complement an epic moment with an equally epic score. Above all, when I'm editing, I don't mind taking my time with it. And if I screw up by cutting audio wrong, the whole video is blown. Video editing is a massive time sink, but the end result can be incredibly rewarding. Over 40 hours later, our episode is ready for publishing. Each video is uploaded the night before it's supposed to go live to ensure that it hits YouTube no later than the scheduled show date. The moment a lore episode is published, Kyle and I take the time to read viewer comments as they appear. The very day a lore episode is published on the channel, we start working on the next one, and the process starts all over again. As of this moment, the Shoddycast has made over 5 hours of lore content, but I firmly believe this is only the beginning. My dream is to one day produce a lore series for every gaming franchise, which prizes itself on its lore. RPGs with rich universes that need their stories told in a concise and elegant manner so that everyone can share in the love of lore. Lore brings context, and the extra value context brings to our gaming experience is indispensable. I wholeheartedly believe that. Now I'm going to speak very plainly with you because if you're still watching this video, chances are you're a person that actually possesses a pretty healthy attention span. Now that you've taken a look behind the scenes, it's not a secret that our videos here on YouTube usually don't get the views to merit the amount of work we put into them. Other channels post Let's Plays here on YouTube that get double the views we do, and we'd probably be better off posting videos that didn't require so much work and time. Now the Shoddycast could just as easily make lore videos here on the channel that are unscripted and less organized, and we would probably get those videos out the door much faster, but I think you guys don't want that from us. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think by holding this channel to a different standard, we're setting ourselves up for a more passionate and more mature viewer base. We've already begun to see this in our channel statistics page, where the average age of our viewers is 29. Now I'm not saying that if you're watching this and you're 12, you're not mature, but it just goes to show you that the content on this channel is geared toward a more mature audience, an audience that actually appreciates the extra time and effort we dedicate to our videos. Now I think we all have the opportunity to make this channel something really special, a place where people who love lore can come to learn more about it, and hold intelligent discussions with people of a like mind who share that similar interest. I mean, we have a history channel, why not a lore channel? Moving forward, I want to make sure that each lore series does have the right team behind it, a talented team that is actually passionate about gaming. Kyle and I have had a blast producing the Elder Scrolls lore series, and that's because him and I actually have a genuine passion for the Elder Scrolls, and it translates to you guys, the viewers. The Fallout lore series is this channel's newest addition, and I don't know if you know this, but we brought in new talent to work alongside us to make sure we're making the absolute best lore series possible. These people are really passionate about the Wasteland, and they're doing everything in their power to make sure we produce videos that can actually do the Fallout franchise justice. These dudes are super cool, and every opportunity I get, I try to compensate them for their hard work. These people love games, and everyone who enjoys that series should help us in thanking them for sharing their love of lore with us. If you'd like to know more about the people working hard to bring this channel to new heights, check out the video description down below for their names. We've also added an About Us section to the Shoddycast website, where you can read about each one of them and check out their other work. There you can also learn about Kyle and myself and how we started the Shoddycast and all the challenges we faced. As the demand for our content on the channel grows, so will our team, so we just wanted to make sure you guys could still keep track of us. Now, if you're a content producer yourself, I'd like to extend a little invitation to you. We're always looking for good talent to fill our ranks and make our series better, so if you're watching this video and have past experience writing scripts, filming cinematic game footage, or other useful talent that you think would benefit the series, feel free to get in touch with us with samples of your work. We're looking for people to fill all of these positions, and more. We prefer people with experience actually producing content online, real proven nerds, so if you have any samples to show us, we'd love to see them. If you're interested in becoming a part of what we do, send a detailed email to noreply@shoddycast.com describing your talents and displaying your work. I can't guarantee everyone who emails us will get the chance to collaborate with us, but I can promise that when a job arises, we'll gladly send an email out to everyone who is qualified and has submitted an email to us. If you're looking for other ways to get involved with the channel here, simply tuning into our videos every week is the single greatest way you can keep us alive. I'm asked a lot why each and every lore episode asks people to like and share, and to understand that, you have to understand how YouTube actually works. When you take the 1 second out of your day to like a video, you are helping that video in the biggest possible way. You're making sure more people see it. Obviously, the same goes for sharing. You guys and girls are really good about liking our videos here on the channel, and I thank each and every one of you who do that. If you'd like to improve the quality of our shows directly, you can certainly do that through donations. Now, I know not everyone is in the financial position to do this, so if all you do is watch our shows here on YouTube, don't even sweat it, you're already doing plenty to help our channel grow and sustain itself. But we have had requests from fans who would like to know how to donate to our series and help it improve directly. In response to this, we recently introduced a new donation page where you get to play favorites and donate whatever amount to the series of your choosing. I want to go ahead and personally thank anyone who has ever donated to our channel anytime in the past or future. Without donations, these lore episodes could not exist. It's as simple as that. Any improvement we've ever made to our shows has been the direct result of donations. New software for better effects, new equipment for better sound and recording, new voice actors, writers, filmmakers, and artists. It is through your support that we are able to do what we do, and for that, everyone who enjoys the content here on this channel owes you their gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this tour behind the scenes. If you made it this far, God help you. If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions for future content, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. I promise you, Kyle and I will be reading each and every one of them. I've been Josh. We'll catch you later.